The jealous father gorilla smelled something in his wife. What he did next is shocking. The morning air in the sanctuary was thick with the heavy, humid promise of rain, a suffocating blanket of moisture that clung to the dense canopy of ancient oaks and twisting vines. Beneath the emerald shadows, a tense, terrifying silence had fallen over the primate enclosure, broken only by the sharp, cracking sound of bamboo being violently splintered. Kylo, a magnificent 400-pound silverback with shoulders like granite boulders, stood towering over his lifelong mate, Naya. His dark, leathery nostrils flared wide, aggressively inhaling the air around her face, before he unleashed a deafening, chest-rattling roar that sent the rest of the troop scattering into the upper branches. To the stunned keepers watching through the reinforced observation glass, it looked like a sudden, brutal display of dominance. Kylo forcefully shoved Naya away from her morning pile of tender, fibrous greens, his massive hands snatching the food from her grasp. He hovered over her trembling form, baring his teeth and physically blocking her from the communal feeding grounds, hoarding a small stash of hyper-sweet figs and mangoes exclusively for himself, or so it appeared. This was an alpha male who had inexplicably turned into a jealous, tyrannical resource guarder, aggressively isolating his terrified wife. The scent of crushed, trampled ferns and the sharp, acidic scent of pain and panic radiated from the observation deck, as the staff watched a decade of gentle trust seemingly evaporate in an instant. Before we delve deeper into this heartbreaking mystery and uncover the shocking truth behind Kylo's sudden aggression, we invite you to become part of our storytelling family. If you are moved by the profound, unspoken bonds of the animal kingdom, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We cherish our global community, so please let us know in the comments below where in the world you are watching from today and what time it is there right now. Your support allows us to continue bringing these incredible stories of nature's hidden miracles directly to your screen. To understand the sheer horror of this morning's confrontation, one must first understand the breathtaking depth of the bond Kylo and Nia shared. For 12 years, they had been the undisputed heart of the sanctuary, moving together with a quiet, synchronized grace that captivated everyone who witnessed it. Their days were normally spent in a state of tranquil devotion, sitting shoulder to shoulder in the dappled, golden sunlight that pierced the canopy, engaging in hours of meticulous grooming. Kylo, despite his fearsome size and immense physical power, was renowned for his extraordinary gentleness. He would spend entire afternoons carefully parting Nia's coarse, beautiful, sunset-colored fur, his massive, calloused fingers working with the delicate precision of a watchmaker to remove tiny specks of dust and dried leaves. Their habitat was a sensory paradise, alive with the loamy, rich fragrance of turned earth, the sweet perfume of blooming orchids, and the comforting, musky scent of their shared warmth. They communicated in a symphony of soft grunts, gentle eye contact, and the unspoken language of shared space. Kylo was her protector, her shadow, and her steadfast companion, making his sudden, violent transformation into a jealous, hoarding patriarch not just confusing, but deeply devastating to the humans who loved them. As the heavy, oppressive afternoon wore on, the situation deteriorated rapidly, spiraling into a crisis that left the sanctuary staff paralyzed with desperation. Naya was fading before their eyes. Deprived of her usual forage by Kylo's relentless blocking, she began to move with a sluggish, agonizing slowness, her normally bright, expressive amber eyes dulling to a vacant stare. She slumped against the cool concrete of the indoor shelter walls, her chest heaving with shallow, exhausted breaths. Yet, every time she closed her eyes to rest, Kalo was there, his behavior bordering on frantic abuse. He would aggressively nudge her, forcefully pulling her arms, refusing to let her sleep, all while pressing his face dangerously close to her mouth, inhaling deeply as if interrogating her very breath. The primate experts and behavioral biologists were racked with a sickening sense of helplessness. Through the rain-streaked glass, they watched what looked like a textbook case of an alpha male turning inexplicably toxic, isolating a sick female and denying her the peace she needed to recover. The keepers knew they could not enter the enclosure with Kalo in such an erratic, hyper-aggressive state, and the agonizing thought of having to dart and permanently separate the bonded pair hung in the room like a dark storm cloud. The air in the observation deck was suffocating, thick with the metallic taste of adrenaline and the profound heartbreak of witnessing a great love story end in suffering. But nature is rarely as simple as human assumptions, and the truth, when it finally revealed itself, was a testament to a miracle of evolution. A senior veterinarian, obsessively reviewing the high-definition audio and video feeds, noticed a subtle, bizarre pattern in Kalo's hoarding. Kalo wasn't eating the sweet figs and mangoes he was guarding so fiercely. He was aggressively mashing them in his massive palms and forcefully pressing the sticky, sugary pulp against Naya's lips, roaring until she weakly swallowed it. Simultaneously, he was actively preventing her from consuming the fibrous, hard-to-digest green shoots that usually made up the bulk of her diet. The revelation struck the team like a bolt of lightning. Kalo wasn't smelling another male's scent, and he wasn't acting out of jealousy or dominance. He was smelling a deadly chemical shift inside his mate's body. Naya was suffering from a sudden, severe metabolic crash, a dangerous and silent plunge in her blood sugar levels that was sending her body into early stages of systemic shock. As her internal chemistry failed, her breath began to emit the faint, sickly sweet, acetone-like odor of ketones, an invisible chemical alarm bell. Long before human instruments or visual symptoms could detect the impending collapse, Kalo's primal, incredibly sensitive olfactory system had registered the crisis. His frantic, seemingly abusive behavior was in fact a desperate, brilliant medical intervention. He was aggressively keeping her awake to prevent her from slipping into a fatal coma, and he was force-feeding her the only things in their habitat that could rapidly spike her blood sugar, while preventing her from filling her failing digestive tract with useless, energy-draining fiber. Armed with this awe-inspiring understanding, the keepers immediately sprang into action, completely abandoning their plans for separation. They quickly prepared specialized, nutrient-dense nectars and life-saving glucose formulas, pouring them into the feeding troughs through the reinforced transfer chutes. When the sweet liquid arrived, Kalo did not hoard it. He approached the trough cautiously, dipped his massive fingers into the nectar, brought it to his nose, and took a long, analyzing breath. Recognizing the life-saving chemistry, he instantly stepped aside, gently but firmly guiding Nia to the edge of the trough and supporting her heavy weight as she began to lap up the vital sugars. Within an hour, a miraculous transformation occurred. The dangerous lethargy began to melt away from Naya's posture, and the bright, intelligent spark returned to her amber eyes. The sky outside finally broke, the torrential rain washing away the oppressive humidity and leaving the air smelling of clean ozone and wet, vibrant green life. As Naya's strength returned, the agonizing tension that had rigidified Kalo's massive frame vanished. He slumped against the wall beside her, physically exhausted by his desperate, lonely vigil. Naya turned to him, reaching out a trembling hand to stroke his cheek, and he leaned his immense head onto her shoulder. Through the glass, the keepers wept as they watched the pair settle into a state of synchronized breathing, the deep, rhythmic rise and fall of their massive chests perfectly matched, signaling the ultimate release of fear and the restoration of their profound sanctuary. This extraordinary event leaves us standing in silent reverence before the profound mysteries of the animal mind. For centuries, humanity has arrogantly claimed a monopoly on medical intuition, complex empathy, and the desperate sacrificial actions born of love. But Kalo's story shatters those boundaries, proving that intelligence in the wild is not merely about finding shelter or hunting for prey. It is about a hyper-awareness of the ones we hold dear. These magnificent beings possess a sixth sense of devotion, an ability to read the invisible chemical language of the body and translate it into life-saving action. Kalo did not need a laboratory or a medical degree to know his wife was fating. He used the ancient ancestral wisdom written in his Na, driven by an emotional bond so powerful that it compelled him to defy his own instincts of peace to become a fierce, misunderstood savior. It is a humbling reminder that love, in its purest, most desperate form, is not uniquely human. It is a universal force woven into the very fabric of nature, binding souls together across species and across the silent, fragrant forests of the world. As we reflect on Kalo and Nia's harrowing yet beautiful journey, we are reminded of the vast, unspoken depths of the creatures with whom we share this fragile planet. Their story is a beacon of hope, illuminating the incredible power of empathy and the hidden miracles that happen every day in the wild spaces of the earth. Thank you for joining us on this emotional journey into the heart of the sanctuary. If this story touched your soul and changed the way you view the intelligence of animals, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with fellow animal lovers so we can continue to spread these vital messages of compassion. Before you go, we would love to read your stories. Have you ever experienced a moment where a pet or a wild animal seemed to know something was wrong before you did, using their own intuition to protect or comfort you? Please share your profound experiences in the comments below. And until next time, keep listening to the language of the heart.